The hour. It was a headline in the New York Times that really caught our attention. At NYU, students were failing organic chemistry. Who was to blame? Maitland Jones, a chemistry professor at New York University and one of the country's top organic chemistry professors, says 82 of his 350 students filed a petition against him, saying his class was too difficult and blamed him for their failing grades. And just before the start of the fall semester, the university terminated the professor. Joining us now, writer and author Jill Filipovich. She's writing about this incident in a piece entitled This Fired Chemistry Professor's Example Shows What's Wrong with Academia. And I should point out, you graduated from NYU.
Twice.
Did you take organic chem?
I absolutely did not.
Okay,
I studied politics and journalism.
I was going to ask if you failed, but okay.
I would have failed.
A lot of people do fail. Did you fail it?
I wouldn't even touch organic
I would
chemistry.
not get near it, so definitely would have failed. But can you fill out this story a little bit? Now, this is the chemistry professor himself, who is renowned in the world of academia for this subject. He feels he was fired for this reason?
So Professor Jones is indeed renowned. He was a tenured professor at Princeton before he came to NYU as an adjunct.
Okay, Eddie.
So that does put him in a pretty unique position as adjunct faculty at NYU. Most adjuncts are not coming from previously tenured positions. Most are not in such a vaunted and respected role. But Professor Jones's class was notoriously difficult. Students complained. Notably, students didn't ask for him to be fired. So I think a lot of the discourse blaming students is maybe a little bit unfair. But some emails from the administration that were published by the Times did indicate that the administration was quite concerned about parents and those who hold the purse strings and the tuition dollars, and what happens if those parents are unhappy. So to me, that's the more interesting question. How much power do parents have? And then what obligations do university administrations have to stand up for their adjunct faculty, who are quite vulnerable and who don't have the same employment protections as tenured professors?
Such an Eddie, I'm just going to turn this over to you.
Yeah.
But there's some thoughts I have in terms of, is their dynamic different given COVID? Were kids showing up for class? Is that an issue that you're seeing? Things are changing, and a lot of younger people are making decisions for themselves about how much they want to do or not do in life. Do you think that plays into this at all?
Yeah.
I say this all really carefully.
Yeah, I think there's an interesting combination of things here, right? So it is the case that COVID has created a condition that has changed the nature of instruction.
Okay.
Students have experienced trauma. And in the midst of coming back after being isolated, right, after being on lockdown, the nature of what rigor looked like as students were grappling with the loss of family, the loss of friends, isolation and all. So it changed. So folks relaxed their standards in certain ways. Organic chemistry is notorious as being
people
the washout.
fail that.
It's the washout course for pre-med.
So hard.
It's the washout course. But I think here, and Jill, you let me know if I'm wrong here. There's a kind of convergence of a kind of consumer-based higher education, where the consumer has become more important as tuition costs rise. Will Bunch's wonderful book that we talked about on this show, right? Higher education is no longer considered public good. It's what you can afford. So these people who are buying product are demanding certain concessions. And then you combine that with the precarity of adjunct professors, of contract employees, who can then be fired because of consumer demand. You get this
What
disaster.
do you think,
What
Jill?
do you think, Jill?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Once you start treating education as a consumer product, as you say, instead of as a public good, administrators, professors, students, and parents all have a totally different set of incentives. I do think that Professor Jones is right, that he has seen a significant shift in student, not abilities, but performance, certainly post-COVID, right? And particularly since this class, it sounds like, was kind of a hybrid in-person, online. He may not have been used to teaching that. I think there were a lot of different factors at play here. But I do think you're correct that fundamentally at heart, the question is, what is the role of an educational institution? And what is its role in a universe now where these elite institutions are more competitive than ever, where giving a student a failing grade really does change or can change the trajectory of their future. Students students understand that, particularly if they're in the middle class, they are kind of standing on the edge of a cliff, right? And they have to go to that next step, or else what's down below seems very, very terrifying. And so I understand why students were quite aggressive about wanting better grades, and perhaps they were correct that this class was too hard and that the professor didn't help students to the degree that he should have. To me, this again comes down to an administrative problem, and less a student problem and probably less a professor problem.
Okay, let's back up here. Do you know what the Professor Jones, what his relationship was with students? Did he have an open door? Did he speak with students? And what was his relationship with the administration? Let's take COVID off the table. I respect Eddie very, very much, but we're not talking about 4th or 5th graders here who missed 2 years of school and lack socialization. We're talking about people in college, young adults. So what was the relationship between the professor and his students?
Well, so I want to be clear that I was not the reporter on this story, but according to the Washington Square News, which is NYU's student newspaper, and they had a really interesting and informative editorial that they published this week about this story. And what they said is that this professor was notoriously harsh with students, notoriously did not have an open door. Students feared asking him questions, and that he, partly for that reason, had the lowest ratings of any professor in the organic chemistry department, right? So I do think there clearly were some instructional issues here. The question is, what does the administration do about that?
Did anybody else teach organic chemistry?
Yes, there are multiple other organic professors.
Why weren't these students in college smart enough to take someone else's course?
So I think a lot of them were. I think a lot of them did seek out other professors. But at some point, if it's a requirement, I don't know what year, sophomore year, let's say, you got to take what you can get. And if all the other courses are full, you're going to wind up in, in the scary hard course.
Writer, author Jill Filipovich, thank you very much. Interesting piece. And